This is another depressing video from the Civicyanki. The weather's kind of cloudy and everything, but today we can still make a video, and what I want to show you is my have for my garage. Trying to clean it up here and there, but it still has some useful features. I want to go over a few things that will upgrade your Ghetto garage. Things that are affordable that will make a huge difference. First thing that makes a huge in upgrading your Ghetto garage is, whoa, don't look at that. Okay, let me position the camera here. Is this thing right here. This is called a stool. These are great. You can sit down and you can work on stuff, and even though much room here, if I were to move the car outside the garage, then I could just go and roll around everywhere. I could just go over here, and I can even lift myself up a little bit, and it's almost enough to like work on stuff up here. These two cabinets are a little bit too high, but it's pretty good, and I can just roll around here, and it's really fun. Definitely recommend it. Go to Harbor Freight, get one, maybe around $40 after tax, and they'll make a huge difference, because there's nothing worse than, you know, kneeling down like this all the time, getting your legs all tired, and it's terrible. Second thing, let's go on that note too. There's another rolly thing over here that I got from Harbor Freight, where you can roll around underneath your car. These crawlers right here, this is the cheap one. These make a huge difference. You might want to put a towel over them, because they do get really cold for some reason, but they make a huge difference. And then of course, let's move on to number 3. You have to have these to work on a car. You have to have your jack, your hydraulic jack, Harbor Freight as well, and your 2 safety stands. These are revised safety stands right here are a must. They have the little safety pin right there. I highly recommend that style, not this old style that they used to have, where if you hit this thing right here, your whole car drops on top of you and you die. That's number 3. Your basic tools to lift up your vehicle. Number 4 is I highly recommend these US General and Yukon toolboxes. These mini ones are super useful for projects. I have all my transmission parts here for all the bolts and everything that went to this transmission. I'm trying to get the 5th gear synchro ring off of this cone. Can't do it. But anyway, that's another video. And then you can also, it even has a place where you can put your tools that you're working on for your project. And there's a lower door as well. I have a bearing, gear, and whatnot in there. And these are super useful. I like these a lot. And they're magnetic, so you put your Rock Auto little magnets on there. And then of course you have the Yukon one, which is where I put like a lot of my tools. Super useful for some organizations and whatnot. That's number 4, is a toolboxes. There's some small ones to get started. And then number 5 thing that'll take that's really cheap, then that will upgrade your little ghetto garage. Are these lights. These Harbor Freight lights. They're battery operated, so you just put in your double A's and whatnot. This is useful because you use it at nighttime to walk the dog as well. This one is really bright. Ugh. Super bright. Very useful. Oh, and even you can even use it in emergencies too. So these are really useful. I like these, and they're super cheap at Harbor Freight. Go get some. Let's see, that was number 5. What are the other things that I want to tell you? I'm kind of making this on the spot. Number 6, you gotta have a piece of shit car that doesn't run. It's a must for every ghetto garage. You have to. Like, you gotta have like this is the centerpiece of the garage right here. And you know, it's got to be something you could take apart and work on and stuff. Some type of project car. And this is definitely a project car right here. I highly recommend these 2006 Honda Civics. Not the SI one. Don't get the SI one, because SI one is fast and their engine blocks don't crack. So that's no fun. Like, you want to challenge. You want to challenge yourself. You gotta go where no one goes. You gotta challenge yourself big time. You know, get the 1.8 liter. Get ready to swap the motor when it cracks or rebuild it with another block. But this is a challenge right here. This is a huge challenge. And it's just, you know, I don't know. Is there something about going with the small motor, the redhead stepchild of the group, and trying to make it faster? And to be honest, yeah, I am a little sarcastic right now, but honestly though, like, it is a lot of fun to go down this road. Like, I love taking like your small motors and whatnot, just doing like some bolt-ons on there, doing some weight reduction, doing some other things to suspension, seeing like how much more funner can I make this car, even though it's like really slow. And then also, if you want to go all in, you could always do a K24 swap, or you could trade it in to get the SI, or you can turbocharge it or supercharge it or whatnot. There are options for these little R18 motors. And yeah, I mean, they are a pain to work on. They really are. But this is something that I'm learning a lot of stuff from this. I'm learning how to work on transmissions. I'm learning how manual transmissions work. I learned how to rebuild the engine. Basically, I have my old cracked block right here. I had to change the block. I had to learn about the setting the clearances for the main bearings. It was a huge learning experience. So yes, it may sound sarcastic because I am kind of hitting at Honda a little bit for these engines that crack, but at the same time, this is like the basis of like all my automotive knowledge right here. This is where like I've learned almost everything, and that's it, you know. And then on that note, number 6, this is number 6. So you have your project car. It could be anything, really. Anything. Number 7 would be your daily driver. Oh! Let's see if I can show you guys my daily driver. My 2001 Toyota Corolla was supposed to be my project car, but this is my daily driver. Like, you have a car that you can get in that starts every single time, and it's a fun car. It's a 5-speed, it's lightweight. It actually makes a really good project car, to be honest. If you had like 2 of those, they do burn oil, and that's like really they burn oil, and then Those green foil injectors do go out. But that's like really the two main issues with that car. They're amazing. They run forever. I definitely recommend like an old Corolla, a new Corolla, any Corolla for your daily driver. They really give you like almost no issues. Because if you're doing project cars like these things, like these Civics, you have to have something reliable as your daily driver. And number 8, for your ghetto garage, I mean, of course, there's the lawnmower. Got this lawnmower for free, and neighbors are really cool. They were throwing it away. You know what? Let's make this number 8. Yeah, having something like a little engine, a little motor right here is a nice side project to do. This one actually works. I was able to get it to run, but it smokes a lot, so we're gonna have to rebuild the motor. And this is a perfect project right here. We can, when we're finished with the car, we can get it out of here, and then we have this thing here, our stool that makes everything more comfortable, and then we can work on this baby right here. We could do a little engine rebuild. Number 8 is, you know, have little side projects, whether they are like a lawnmower, weed eaters, or like an old Sony Walkman radio, some electronics or something. Have something that you can kind of step away from the car stuff because you're going to get burnt out with it. Have a little project that's more easier to deal with, that you're not going to get as stressed out with, and you'll learn a lot of stuff doing it as well. Number 9. This is a simple flux welder. You know, like if you're in a small garage like this, and you don't have room to have like a whole setup with MIG welder and TIG welder, and you don't have the money too, like it's a lot of money, and you have to fill up with the gas and everything. This is a Smiter TIG welder, or not TIG welder, flux welder. Not only is it a flux welder, but it's also a stick welder too. Honestly, you're gonna have to upgrade to 220 volts. You have to, because like if you try to run it on 110, you're just gonna keep on blowing the fuse. I have mine right here, my 220. Basically, two 110s put together to make 220, really, and it wasn't too bad to install that, and it works great. I did all my exhaust work with this. You could really save a lot of money doing your own exhaust work, and you're going to use it again and again. And I've even fixed tools with it. It's super useful to have. So, you know, always have some type of flux welder with you. And number 10, I'm gonna have to think about what's the last thing I should recommend. What is the one thing in this garage I should recommend? What is it? Is it the air compressor that I have? Cheap little air compressor? Is it the engine building tools that I have over here? Like the torque wrenches and whatnot? Which one is more important? I think the torque wrenches would be probably the thing that you should have. You should definitely have. A torque wrench is super useful. And I have 2 torque wrenches. I have one that's for a 1/2 inch, and then one that's for a 3/8 inch. The 3/8 inch one is good for doing things that don't need as much torque. Engine work, definitely. You have a lower specification for torque, and it's more accurate through that range. Then I have the big 1/2 inch one. That's for my wheels. That's for the head bolts. You know, of course, the head bolts. You need a big wrench for that. And having 2 of those is super useful. Actually, I need to get the 1/4 inch one too, because there's some things like these bolts right here. Like if I use a torque wrench from here, I'll probably snap my bolt in half because it's just not accurate in that range, that low torque range. So you need a smaller torque wrench to be a little bit more accurate and precise for those smaller torques specifications. I would go, you know, if you're gonna rebuild a motor, you know, you need to have really good torque wrenches. You also need to, you know, you're gonna have to do angle torque as well, where you do like your 90 degrees or your 60 degrees. You're gonna have, if you're doing transmission work, you might have to make like a slide hammer, you know, and this just comes, you know, from like hone the cylinders, oil change for newer Corollas, you know, it's a precise measuring right here. Have a micrometer, you know, and then your filler gauges here. Like eventually you'll get into this type of stuff where you need precision and stuff. This thing to compress the piston rings when you put them down the cylinder. I have this thing too, which does angle torque as well, but honestly, marking them and then just marking the bolt head and then doing it that way would work just fine. I also have my old-fashioned torque wrench right here, and then other things as well. But torque wrenches are super useful, especially the most important thing I think torque wrenches are for, setting your wheel lug torque. Like if you don't set your wheel lug torque and you just drive off, like some crazy stuff has happened to me in the past. Like I had a wheel fall off before because it wasn't tightened on there. I had these things like the wheel loose and it like destroyed these lug nuts and everything. And then I had to replace the whole stud, you know, because of that. Do your 80 to 90 degrees on 90 foot-pounds of torque for these babies, and do it in a star pattern, you know. If you have like a bigger SUV, it's you're probably gonna have to use more torque actually. So, or like a truck or something, you know, just make sure you're putting those on there correctly and be as safe as possible. This is my kind of my ghetto-ass garage, but it is kind of also like my little tiny man cave too. Like this is an awesome place. Like I love it. I like it's so messy and stuff. You know, this is me. I'm messy as hell, and this fits me. Has all the tools I need. It's got everything I need. You know, I don't need anything more. I can even pull freaking engines, man. And you know, that could be on the list too, but we're just gonna keep it simple today. Those are the 10 things I recommend for your little ghetto-ass garage, shed, or whatever it is that you're working on your car projects. You know, always be safe, always use your safety jacks, always have your e-brake on. If you're having the car up on 4 wheels, like all jacked up all the way around, use your safety stands, make sure you're on a level surface. You know, shake it before you get underneath there. You know, don't kill yourself. This stuff is not worth it for that. This stuff is cool. You get to learn a lot of stuff. You get to make something cool. You know, even this like R18 Civic, for me, this is a cool car. Like it sounds cool. It's manual transmission. It's pretty sporty. It's not fast, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna be driving this car on some curvy roads. I'm gonna have fun. Well, that's it. About 10 things that I recommend for your little tiny garage, and that's it. Another video from Civicyanki. Thank you for watching, everybody.